what exactly is going on? They take out the Rubik, so just preventing Ravage steals, I guess, from coming true. And of course, the save with the pullback is pretty strong. OB.Neon go into the Shadow Demon. So they've got solid stun setup now with Lina and the Shadow Demon. Disruption into LSA is pretty easy to land. You do have great ways of stacking up now as well to build up for that one big core on 458 to clear out, or for Mikato to clear out early on. So it is building into a specific tempo here for OB.Neon, and they're about to, we'll see if they do manage to get that done, especially for 458. 458 has been a really strong performer so far. We talked about his history in 496, and where 496 were looking really good in their debut in their first pro series, but there were some health issues for 458 that prevented him from playing much. He's showing up now, and hopefully it holds up. The draft does continue. Boom. Mars and Murata. So they've got the spear and arrow combination coming out. We have a lot of heavy control coming on. They're off lane now, and some really good early rotation potential coming through. The FBZ Mars is a treat, right? Like, this is something he specializes in. Now, they could still flex the Mars as well, maybe running it for Yopaj mid, but I don't think we see that too often. I think it's more likely if they flex a Yopaj here, it's the Jaro mid, which again, I don't have great memories of for Yopaj, so hopefully not going that deep into mind games, but already a solid lane there for Boom, especially here for FBZ. You've got the arrow setup, you've got chain stuns that can make it hellish for 458.
Certainly could be the mid Jaro, John. You've brought back some rather unpleasant memories, but yeah, could be mid Jaro copter here for our boy Japoy. We'll see. OB.Neon, their fourth pickup now. 30 seconds of reserve time left, and they'll go into the Void pickup. Now, this hero, it's one of those position ones right now where it's like, if you can drag it out, if you can get some big items up, yes, it's a big problem. But man, I gotta tell you, every time I watch it for the first 20-25 minutes, this hero just feels like it does absolutely nothing. The Chrono's nice, you chuck it out, but you need some teammates. Generally speaking, this hero doesn't have enough damage to get the job done himself, and this is going into an Omni Knight, which is gonna make life a lot harder for him. I wonder, OB.Neon, they must be feeling confident to pick up this Void, but I just don't know about it.
Could be support Void. Could be support Void.
Come on, John.
Right?
You think
we're playing mind games here. Maybe. That's the only way it kind of makes sense against that Omni Knight, which is already a really good counter. Like, if not, then your core Void will always have to get the Chrono onto the back line. And you're also going to have to make sure either the Chrono or Ravage catches the Omni Knight. And that's a pretty tall order. For the most part, Omni Knight players, we've watched it throughout the group so far. They do tend to get their positioning right? They stay back, they just cast their spells. They don't need to be up front. So it is a bit more challenging. You could Void support, Shadow Demon support. That's your support duo. Tidehunter off lane, Lina mid. Different safe lane for 458. That could be one way to flex it. Admittedly, Void plus Tide sounds like a pretty atrocious lane. So that's not going to be too fun or impactful. You could still run Tide plus Shadow Demon as a lane, which could work out, but then Void on the 5 with another core is also lackluster, especially against Mars Murata. So maybe not, but I don't know. It doesn't fill me with much confidence. Like, scaling towards late game is great. Chronosphere is a spell that you have to draft against. Like, you have to have a swap. You do have the Omni Knight at the least, but sometimes that can get tricky once the wider AoE Chrono's in play. I just don't know. I feel like Chrono's cooldown's too long to kind of play around. You already have Ravage, which is a long cooldown as well. You do have Burst on Lina to play in the Chrono. It doesn't feel like it's going to be enough against the Omni Knight, though, no matter what. And boom, they close out with that Zeus, so they have really good spells to toss into the Chrono if you don't catch the Zeus out. And the Omni Knight, they've got good damage early on. They have great AoE control with a Mars Gyrocopter combination. Call down Arena is really strong. And I think Neon's got to have a fantastic last pick to close this one out.
I wonder, like, are we seeing a mid laner here? Makoto, what do you want? TA's still available if he wants to go down that route, and I think TA does do decently into the Zeus. Don't care too much about the Zeus spell kit. It could just be a mid laner though. Like, it's not like the laner's going to lose the mid lane against the Zeus. In fact, it could go either way. We'll see. OB.Neon, 3 seconds of reserve time left, and they're going to go into the Nyx Assassin, so it is going to be a mid laner coming out. We're on the pause for Nyx, and everything's pretty self-explanatory. 458 in the Void, offlane Tide, and of course Genuel on the Shadow Demon. Nothing too strange
How is-
on Boomies. What is it, John?
How does Xiaoyu also have that dad bod Tide? Every Tide player has it. Every single one. They've all got the same set.
Yeah.
It's the stomach gut out. The Nyx, as you pointed out, is a good way to kind of handle the Zeus. And in some way, when you get your Ags timing, you do have some utility in Chrono. With your long range stun, your longer cast range. So it can kind of shape up. And this should be able to hold down Yopaj. He's got to be really cautious on his mid, especially when level 6 is up for Hustla. And it does give them some pretty good stun combinations coming through from Neon Sin. So good aggression. The key thing for Neon in comparison to Boom is they have to play around those timers. We have to see Chronos committed even on just one hero early on. You have to find those kills. You don't want that spell just sitting around. If you're never going to use it in the first, 10 to 20 minutes, you might as well level your other spells. If you're never going to press R, I think it's just a wasted skill point. So we'll see if 458 kind of goes for maybe some early aggression with some early Chronos while still building up farm. You have to worry about the farm war here. Gyro versus Faces Void. Gyro wins out the flash farm hands down every single day.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go into it. Game number 1 between Boom Esports and OB.Neon is finally upon us. See how these two teams go at it. I guess I was about to say there can only be one winner, but theoretically they could both be winners and losers if this does draw out 1-1. But we don't want that, John. We want a 2-0 victory between one of these two teams. We want an outright winner.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something like, all right, if Boom wins, then that's kind of old Neon winning, right? And so you could say old Neon has won. If Neon wins, then that means Mikoto wins, which means old Boom kind of wins as well.
Wrong.
It would have been perfect if Hyde was standing in for Play Hard, because apparently that's why Hyde was in lobby. So right as Hyde came in, Play Hard joined his slot. And that's what happened. That's like, all right, that's why he was on. Agent M on duty today, apparently. Agent Mikoto.
We'll keep a close eye on Makoto. We might have to report him after this game, depending on his performance. We'll see. He's against the idol himself, of course. Japoi going to be there on the Zeus. I couldn't help but notice over the time we've been casting Yopaj. People always say in the chat, it's not Yopaj, it's Japoi. Like that, his name is Japoi. We get it. We know his name's Japoi. But if he names himself Yopaj in the game, then I think that's what he wants us to call him, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's the cool way of doing it, as Filipinos love to do. You flip the name backwards.
Of course.
Yopaj, Japoi. That's the cool kid's way, and Yopaj is a cool kid, so he would want to keep his cool by. It's kind of lame just calling him by name, like me. You call me John. It's really lame. I call you Mike. We're very lame, Mike. But that's how we are. We're not cool.
But I can't switch your name around. What is it, like Nodge? You want me to call you Nodge, John? FBZ, oh nice spear, great setup. They've got the Nyx Assassin Hustler gonna die immediately. It looks like we are gonna have a spicy matchup on our hands as homing missile gonna go in onto 458. There'll be no follow-up. A great start already for Boom Esports. And Yopaj, he was the one to take the kill on the Zeus, so first blood bonus gold gonna go his way. Have a very quick bottle on the way here on this Zeus.
Yeah, that's going to be very important for his matchup. Of course, Zeus versus Lina mid. Should be even in the initial levels. Lina can kind of wave clear with the Dragon Slave. Zeus can do the same thing with the Arc Lightning. You can also harass out with Lightning Bolt and with a Static Field. So you can slowly chip away at the Lina. I think the Lina field's a lot nicer in terms of wave clear overall, because Dragon Slave is going to be able to help you in the jungle camps a little bit better than Arc Lightning overall, but it's not like Arc Lightning falls behind. It is cheaper to spam out Arc Lightning. The damage is slightly lower, but you can be consistent with it, and that does give value to the early static field as well. We'll have to see how the lane develops. For now, Mikoto hits level 2, so he's got Fiery Soul. Every single Light Strike Array trade is going to work in his favor, and that's the one edge the Lina does have. She has a natural steroid when she casts her spells. Her right clicks hurt a little bit more than the Zeus would early on.
Certainly so. Of course, down at the bot lane, Xiaoyu going to be there on that off lane Tide. CTM on the Omni Knight, and you do have Hustler already getting a creep wave pool away behind that tier 1 tower. Of course, CTM going to be there with Palos on the position 1 Gyrocopter. I wonder how this Gyro goes this game. Like last game around, you already kind of mentioned this, but for Jackie anyway, it took quite a lot of items for him to feel like he can actually deal some damage on the hero. Palos may feel the same way. We'll see if he switches up his item build, but I imagine it is going to be quite similar. Could be quite dangerous, though, going into that Void as Gyro, because you're going to give plenty of time for the Void to get to that stage where he actually feels quite strong.
Yeah, I think as long as you kind of flash farm fast and maybe play aggressive with some of the early burst damage you have with Zeus and Gyro, it can line up. You're seeing the lane matchup, though. Again, Palos is ranged. He doesn't even have a flak yet, but he's already very protected from the dual melee of OB.Neon. So you're not really going to be able to zone Palos out. You're not going to stop this guy from getting the last hits off. You can at least play tag with CTM, but that's what CTM wants anyway. And you have to watch how much initial farm you give away to Palos. You do get the creep pull out from Hustler, so they are just going to try to secure level 2 on Nyx, get some more EXP on the Tide. CTM is sort of punishing them for that, at least dragging them back away to bring it a bit closer, but still going to end up some EXP out for OB.Neon, but I don't think you mind. As long as Palos gets solo EXP and farm, you're pretty happy here.
Certainly so. Top lane as well. Last lane, 458 on the Void, going to be there against FBZ, and you've got Genuel there on the Shadow Demon. Looks like Playhard has roamed into the mid lane to see if he could land an arrow onto Makoto, but it didn't pan out. Makoto looks perfectly fine. He is really dominating this lane so far. Well, I say that, it's only 2 CS ahead, but of course as the leaner, he's going to have that massive harass potential. It's proving very hard for Yopaj to actually kind of trade back, but I suppose at the very least as a Zeus, as long as you are CSing and keeping on par with that, you are going to be happy.
Yeah, you're still going to be able to hit your timings. Your level 6 should still line up, considering that neither side is getting much more denies over the other. So once Thunder God's Rat is up, the nuke potential does skyrocket and rotations can line up. Gives us a chance to look up top. 458 on that Void up against FBZ and Playhard on Mirana and Mars. Of course, he's got the support of Johnny. The Shadow Demon can save your face's Void here. So Spear, you're going to have to be a bit more patient with the Sacred Arrow follow-up. It's not going to be very easy to chain stun because of the presence of Johnny. And of course, Johnny, being a Shadow Demon, can just abuse the melee core in the Maras and just go for the stacks and Shadow Poison.
FBZ, a lot of Shadow Poison being stacked up. That'll be 5. I don't think it'll be enough to completely kill him off, but we'll have a gander at the damage amount. And oh, that's pretty substantial. Still not enough to kill him off, though.
At level 2, I believe, max stacks is about 610 without reduction. So that is a hefty amount. Still, arrow.
Nice arrow landing there. Playhard going to continue trying to harass him out, but Genuel with the level 2 Shadow Poison can trade back, and one more might do enough to get the kill. He does juke that one out, but now 458 going to intercept. Stick charges have been used up. Playhard eats a Fairy Fire. Genuel, one more. Can't land it. He's still got another very soon, but no. And he mistimes it as well. Playhard himself right after the damage comes in. Unfortunate for Genuel, he commits his whole mana pool for that attempt, and Playhard in the end just going to be able to salve up and go right back to stacking.
Yep, they haven't really stopped the stacks as well from OB.Neon's part. They had the wards in Johnny, didn't manage to go in to just go for a block or just get some information on. So that's a lot of value there for Boom. They're going to have really good flash farm coming through from Palos, who is already having very free lane. That's something OB.Neon is going to have to watch out for. You need to keep controlling the jungle, especially the triangle area, and get the ward vision out. Because if they don't, again, you can expect Palos to just always get that initial farm advantage over the Void. And speaking of 458.
Oh, nice setup from FBZ. Looks like it was a spear into an arrow, and there was just no way out for 458. So that combination finally kicking in against OB.Neon. Definitely panning out very successfully here for FBZ. I was having a gander at the mid lane, John. Hustler, he just kind of walked in, used the mana burn on Yopaj once, and just walked out. I thought, how annoying. But it actually is kind of effective, because Yopaj, he is going to run all the way back to the fountain now and get a reset for himself. In the meantime, though, Makoto is still freely just laning on the leaner. And, I mean, Makoto now has taken a pretty decent lead. 11 CS ahead of the Zeus. And this is exactly where you want to be if you are Makoto on this mid.
Yep, just building up that farm advantage. Again, Lina should have a good time in the jungle as well, if need be. The burst damage is pretty good. I think for Boom's side, kind of want to play with a across the map sort of burst that Thunder God's Wrath can afford you. They don't really line up for it yet. They are sort of harassing out Play Hard from building up the stacks, and Johnny Well might be able to clear most of it. He does.
Yeah, very nice. Still leaves the big creeps there, but he's going to try and go back for them. It's just so much gold, but Yopaj now going to rotate over, try to time this well, but he's going to lose 2 of them. Still a substantial amount of gold going to the way of Genuel instead of the Zeus. Former teammates, John, just going at it. This time around, I'd say Genuel won out. He got most of the big creeps.
Yeah. He's certainly making good use of the Shadow Demon in terms of slowing down that farm output on the side of Boom. OB.Neon are still keeping track of that area as well. They've got the ward drop, so they're going to be able to spot every single movement out. Yopaj might have to use his vision there with the lightning ball to kind of remove that control. The issue with moving around with the Shadow Demon there is you do leave 458 alone up top, and his farm has suffered. Bottom net worth of all the cores. As a Faceless Void, that's not good news. Your flash farm is slow. Your jungling is really slow. It's gonna cause some timing issues. You are still gonna hit your level 6 timing. Maybe you just kind of compensate by, again, looking for some early kills on some easy targets with that chrono.
Almost has it up. FBZ, though, has the arena as well if he wants to try and commit that. Play hard. Still around the area, but Hustler has revealed himself at the top lane of this Nyx Assassin. Meanwhile, CTM back to stacking up those Ancients, but an Observer Ward is going to have vision. They'll get the D Ward off very early on, but the information is already there, and now Chrono has been committed mid-arena. 458, he'll try to go after Play Hard, but he's going to be fine to leap away. Instead, Genuel, he'll get speared back, but FBZ getting bashed once. 458, he wants the bigger kill. Onto the Mars, but FBZ might prove to be a little bit too tanky. As Hustler, he'll go back in onto Play Hard, but now you've got CTM around. They will not let anyone die as they'll turn back in onto the Nyx, and now the Thunder God's Wrath is there. Genuel, he'll be the secondary as Play Hard. Can't quite get the kill yet. They'll have to let the Shadow Demon go, but they do find Hustler.
Yep. Not the biggest kill, but the key thing is that you force Chrono out. So that's 2 minutes where Chronosphere is not going to be a threat. That's 2 minutes where 458 will have to try to farm up in the jungle. He is stuck with level 1 Time Walk, so even his mobility is not amazing. Maybe if you get some lucky bashes and creeps, you can kind of clear fast. Side of OB.Neon now not dissuaded. They are going to go for a smoke play. They have Ravage up.
Oh, Play Hard. Does it? Oh, he has a leap charge. He just didn't react fast enough. Very unfortunate, and now the massive Ancient stack for Zhao Yu. Thank you very much, he says. So he can just anchor smash over and over again. And as long as they stick around him, it's going to be hard for Boom to fight back because they've got the Ravage up, but Palos is going to move in. He'll get in with the Flak Cannon, and a lot of kills are going the way of Palos. He pretty much got every creep already. Zhao Yu, thinking about going for that Ravage, will posture aggressively and now pops it right after the Heavenly Grace. But who do you aim down? They'll try after CTM, but it's back in on Palos, who gets quite greedy, but now the arena. It catches out 3 heroes. FBZ. Like fish in a net, John. Just catches all of them. And in the end, I believe Palos, again, got every creep.
I think he missed like 5, but maybe 3, 4. Not much. Not enough to really make a dent on that farm. And considering you got the kills, it feels a lot better there for Boom. It comes down to the timing issue again. Palos can stand in front and fight, although...
458? Almost dies again. FBZ has been all across the map on this Mars, Jonathan. Very aggressive play from the offlane of Boom Esports. Just doing a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, you're holding back this Void's farm. 458 is just constantly pressured. He is going for the Mask of Madness build, which I do prefer. I think if you are focusing on using your Chrono, Mom is going to give you more damage output. The farm is, the farm acceleration is relatively good as well. So there is that aspect. You just have to watch for the spell uses. Now, going back to that point, OB.Neon, whenever they commit these big teamfight spells, they get a disadvantage if they don't find kills. So they have to really secure some early pickoffs with a Ravage or with a Chrono, because after it fades, there's a big window for Boom to run in. Like, Arena cooldown level 1 isn't that bad. Thunder God's Wrath is also relatively great with uptime compared to Chrono Ravage. So when Boom sees you commit, they'll just be able to punish and jump right in. And you see the difference with the Void and the Gyrocopter. Not just in farm, but in terms of early level contribution, Palos does a lot more damage standing up, although there is a smoke play here from Neon.
They want the big target, 458. He'll go right in for the chrono. No help around to try and help out the Zeus. It's Palos, he does TP in the end, but it's all too late. 458, nice setup, does take the kill for himself, and of course that's one man you always want to try and aim down, is the Yopaj mid.
You're keeping him fairly shut down. He isn't too far behind though. Yopaj is still above Xiao Yu's farm, way above 458's farm, barely lagging behind Mikado's farm. So it's still a big kill, very important for OB.Neon. But Boom are still 3k ahead. Palos is level 11. Compare that to our Faces Void at level 8. There's a massive power difference here. I think you have to kind of be worried about how much more Palos is getting out. His Ags, 2 parts away, 1.4k gold left. Once you hit that Ags timing, he does even more up front. He also went for the stat buildup, I believe. Yeah, he went into the stats after getting value points in Rocket Barrage and Homing Missile. So he's very tanky. He's hard to burst. You're going to have to commit the Laguna onto him if you see him in the middle of the fight. Even then, with Heavenly Grace being such a busted spell, I don't know if it's going to be enough with that added strength on top.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bot tier 1 tower
Are fortified.
going down, so both teams just deciding they'll trade.
Dire's top tower is fallen.
Very quick blink up here from
Radiant's bottom tower is
FBZ.
under attack.
I mean, he is 3-0-3 right now, so he's had plenty of bonus gold to come in on the Mars, but now with this early of a blink dagger up, it's going to cause a lot of issues for OB.Neon. You're always going to have that big initiation. And for someone like 458, who's already struggling on this position 1 Void, if you get the Arena Spear off, it's quite easy to just burst him down. We'll see how they deal with it. CTM, you get ganked up by Hustler, but where's your follow-up? It's just not going to be there. In fact, now Hustler is the one being hunted. They'll go for the Starfall. BZ will wait out the blink. And the homing missile is going to follow him down anyway. There's no real way out for the Nyx Assassin. They spear him up, and the Thunder God's Wrath comes in. Just to make sure he does end up going down. And just as every good Zeus player, John, you've got to just commit the ulti every time. You know, it's not KSing. You're securing the kill.
I actually don't really mind it on most Zeuses. Like, they need the gold. They can farm relatively okay, but they can't really clear Ancients, so that's something that kind of puts a big dent on Zeus in the meta. He can't clear out Ancient stacks. Arena did come out from FBZ. He did miss the mark. But, again, it's not the longest cooldown spell. A minute and 20 seconds until it's back up. Still plenty of time to kind of play around at. The side of OB.Neon, well, they've had Chrono up for a while, but I think they understand the damage output of 458 isn't enough to take bigger fights. So it's only when they can commit to softer targets like Yopaj's Zeus, maybe the supports are the only ones you can really go for. I think with Ravage, though, you should look for some opportunities. The Blink is almost up for Xiao Yu, and that should be the timing for OB.Neon to look to make a smoke play once more and try to catch a bigger team fight with the Ravage up.
Absolutely. You know, I feel like you are falling very far behind right now as OB.Neon. I mean, it's 4k net worth difference between the two teams at the moment. I'm looking back to 458 on this Void, John. He's just so far down on the net worth list. Very concerning signs. Unless they can get a few kills going their way very soon. Because he didn't go the farming item build, it's causing some big issues in his net worth and the ability to catch up to, say, Palos, who has that inbuilt farming mechanism. Hustler, I keep tabs on Play Hard, but he's got help around in the form of FBZ. And even if he didn't, I don't think Hustler can get the kill, and can't. Now FBZ might jump in, God's Rebuke is there. Spike Carapace is going to buy a little bit of time, but in the end, Hustler is going to be an easy kill, and Play Hard will immediately give him the tip.
Yeah, it's nice bug to squish. Not the biggest kill in the world. They still have Arena.
Oh, mid lane. FBZ, he's all over the map, FBZ. Absolutely everywhere. He gets a kill top lane. He TPs mid immediately. CTM, he gives the respect over to his off lane. He knows how well FBZ is playing right now. How do you read this movement, John? He's just everywhere.
You can't. They do have Ravage and Chrono. They could look to try and defend, but the tower is melting relatively quick. Xiao Yu, the blink is up, but they need Alina for damage. The Void alone won't cut them. Their sports don't have enough. That mid-tier one does fall. Top jungle opens up a little bit more. I have to say, Mike, if you can appreciate that view for a moment, hit enter and just stare. Boom FBZ killing Boom Mikado. You don't see those tags up against each other all too often.
No, you certainly don't. That is exactly what we are seeing. It's heartbreaking to watch, John. It's so exciting at the same time. I'm a bit of a sicko here, but what can you do? We'll see if Makoto can get a bit of revenge on the leaner. I don't think it's really up to Makoto anyway. Like it's a team effort here for OB.Neon, and right now they are just very far behind, and it makes it hard to kind of fight back. They will smoke up. Play hard will break the smoke on Gen Ul. Observer Ward going to be denied immediately. However, oh no!
What?
Oh, Hustler gets another tip. Play hard going to be very happy with himself with that one. Oh, and the tips, they might be starting to get the Hustler here, John. Never a good sign when you miss an easy impale setup like that.
Yeah, the thing with trying to catch Mirana out is that travel time on Leap. The travel time of your impale is not that fast. In fact, I think relative to Lion, it's slower than Lion's. So you have to be a bit quicker.
FBZ, he's
FBZ
got
again.
Makoto again. It's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking to see the two against each other, but now the whole team just tips FBZ. He's just doing such a great job, John.
Oh,
he's doing it by himself.
Yeah, he's got a target painted on the back of Mikado, which is hunting down. They get great use out of Thunder God's Rat as a scouting ability, and now they're going in Roshan. This is very brazen from Boom, right? This is Rosh against a Void against a Tide, but OB.Neon, they are going to smoke up. I don't know if they're going to make it in time. That Roshan's melting fairly quick.
That it is. Rotation is here, OB.Neon. They're going to scout out CTM. Guardian Angel is committed. Can they actually kill him in time? CTM is still perfectly fine. Roshan, though, is not down yet. There's going to be a big ravage out. You trying to help 458. He's got the chrono, but the Roshan is still alive. Can they burst it down? The arrow? No, 458. He dies to play hard. And FBZ takes the Aegis. Oh, you saw that in slow motion. I was watching it in slow motion.
God.
The arrow was flying through the chrono. He couldn't pick it up. He got the Roshan kill, but what does it matter? Oh, I mean, it's just too much. It's too much for my poor heart, John. Look at FB. He's looking for more.
He's on fire. And we talked about this with Boom before, right? And Boom themselves, the old roster, used to say FBZ was their anchor. FBZ was the guy they based most of their games off. If he pops off, then Boom pops off. It looks like that holds true with this new roster of Boom. He just goes online, everyone's behind him. He managed to make the plays. We did, I did say it's a bit brazen to go in against Ravage Chrono, but they managed to space that out. CTM holding the high ground, breaking that smoke, forcing the Guardian Angel to make them work to get into the pit. The call down from Palos just dropping that Tide very low before he could go inside to see vision. Just made everything work against OB.Neon. Now they have 2 spells on cooldown, 2 massive spells on cooldown. They take a tier 2 top at the 19-minute mark, very quick from Boom. And they can look to force high ground. They have the BKB on Palos. They've got the second life on FPC.
Xiaoyu's got to be careful. FBZ, he's known for these spearbacks out of the base. Xiaoyu, stun, going to be taken off, but we might see a spearback right now. No Arena is there, into the arrow immediately, and they blow up Gen Ul. Just blow him up. Now Hustler going to rotate over. They'll try to set up for the defense, but it's not looking great for him. How do you defend this? They've got the Omni behind Palos. FBZ, he's unkillable right now. I mean, Xiaoyu doesn't even have the Ravage. It's just so tough.
They can't. They need her spells. It's just such a long cooldown. Boom just abuses this grab from OB.Neon. They need these spells to be up to fight, and they just can't without them.
Hustler almost dies. FBZ, he'll blink out. Yapash gets a tip from Play Hard. So he missed the lightning strike. Palos, he's got a BKB up. He's perfectly fine to sit here and tank all this damage. Chrono is almost up on a 458, but do they have the damage? It feels like it's very lacking, especially when CTM's right behind. Disruption there. Palos not taking any. Chrono's out. They've got the Omni Knight, but they've missed Palos. Palos just going to go right to work with the Flak Cannon, and they've lost 458. This game could be very over. There's now Xiaoyu. He's trying to back off. 458 will cop a tip mid-team fight. And Yapaj, he is still bullying Xiaoyu. But eventually we'll leave them be as they get the top lane of Barracks. But it's a 10k net worth advantage. 21 minutes in. And boy, oh boy, does it look very tough to make a comeback for OB.Neon.
It goes back to the point we talked about in draft. Like, if you go for these chrono plays, you have to catch the Omni every single time. They did, but they didn't catch the cores. It's just so difficult. The positioning of CTM, the positioning of most Omni Knight players are just always on point. They stand far enough to be protected. You know, even if you caught Palos there but didn't catch CTM, Guardian Angel would have just saved him. So it's just so hard to find those angles. I don't think the pressure's on 458. The pressure's on Xiao Yu. They need a bigger Ravage more than they need a Chrono. I think if you can land the Ravage you're looking for, you do have some damage coming through, especially on the Lina, to still clean up some kills here.
There we go, FBZ, the man that's been on fire this game, might just spot out and does. The arena's down again. He's got the main target he wanted. Arrow is off the mark though. Xiao Yu, a big Ravage, does connect on 3 and now the Impale on 2, but where's your damage output? Makoto, he does take down Palos. They've got 458 down as well. Yopaj will go after Xiao Yu in the back. Makoto, he'll BKB TP out, and they still lost 4. They still just lose 4.
It's just not enough. Like, they only have damage for one coming through the Lina. They don't have any other source of damage right now. Their control from Nyx is pretty good. It would be a lot better with the Ags, and that's still 1,500 gold off. So the timing for that spike on the Nyx is still a long ways off. Boom, again, off the back of FBZ, just setting up. He forced the Ravage out. Like, that was not the ideal Ravage situation for OB.Neon. They did not have vision of the backline. They were not quite in position to immediately follow through with the chain stuns. And if they can't pull off that perfect execution, then they're not going to be able to just kill more than one. And they do get the big target in Palos. He's the highest net worth hero, but they still find way more on Boom's end just by killing off everyone else anyway.
Absolutely. Aegis is going to expire. Boom, they'll back on, or will they? They're looking to go back in perhaps. Boom. No, they're not backing off. FBZ, the monster. I mean, he's got Arena up in 5 seconds. Spear off the mark this time. Hustler. Spike Carapace will protect from the God's Rebuke. Boom, they're not backing. I mean, Aegis or no Aegis, with a 12k net worth advantage, there is absolutely zero reason to back off. They'll get the tier 2. They probably won't go high ground, to be fair. But they will continue their map dominance.
Yeah, there's not much OB.Neon can do about it. They are giving some space out to 458 to keep this farm game up. He is working towards a BKB. So it's not going to fix the damage issue. It will help him land better chronos, though. Doesn't need to worry about control coming out from Boom. Doesn't need to worry about being bursted down by Yopaj's Zeus, which has a really good farm, even above that Void still. So you are getting some tools to play with on OB.Neon side. They need to play with these cooldowns being up. So Chronos back up, Ravage not quite. I think with Ravage going off cooldown though, you could look to try again here.
They're going to try. They see Palos, but he's got his team right behind him. All ultis are up for both teams. It could be a massive team fight. OB.Neon, they need to land everything perfectly here. Arrow. Oh, it's going to scout out a little bit, I think. Xiao Yu does get pinged down, so they know where the tide is. FBZ looking for an arena, might jump in. Won't yet. 458, he shows himself, almost baiting himself forward. They continue. Oh, Makoto. Oh boy, he's misclicked the BKB at the wrong time. That's not the time to test the Makoto. And now you can't fight. You can't fight without that BKB.
No. You gotta wait. And that leads to tier 2 taken. The high ground, again, I mean, Boom could try if they wanted to. They will Moonlight. There are good sentries around from OB.Neon, though. So they might be able to spot that movement in the top jungle.
At least Boom don't know the BKB was used, so you have that kind of brighter side to things for OB.Neon right now, but still a pretty rough scenario here as it just seems like Boom, they just want the Roshan. We know that's all they want. They've got every outer tower. There's still 1 Rax advantage on their side of things, so are we getting an early Roshan? We'll find out in about 10 seconds when it is going to spawn up. We'll see how lucky they get with this Roshan time. But for OB.Neon, they want a very long one, if anything. It's going to be about a minute, though. Not too long.
Are scanning.
Yeah, in the middle. So just some time to relax for Boom. Keep farming up. FBZ, he's saving up for his Desolator. Almost up. That's going to lead to even more damage coming through with a God's Rebuke. Satanic finished up on Palos. So he's got the sustain. Side Gunner plus the Satanic heal. Even if you did catch this guy out, like, with a Heavenly Grace, I just don't know if you can kill Palos this time around. He has a ton of strength. A lot of life steal coming through. Very difficult target to go on. OB.Neon, again, they're being patient. They're not jumping out. They are just shoving out their waves as far as they can. They're giving 458 some lane to play with. It's scouted out, though.
Yeah, Zeus ulti's there. Lightning Strike is going to land. 458 still going to try and juke his way out of this. He'll time walk towards the left. CTM, though, and FBZ. They're going to cut him off again. Oh boy, it's a tough time for 458. Palos is going to run into Makoto. He's completely alone, but the immediate TP rotations, boom, they want to force him to the fight. They've got the arena up. Makoto, take down the homing missile, and that'll be enough. Roshan's up anyway, and they're lacking 458 during the Roshan. It's awkward. I don't know if he has enough time to respawn here and make his way over. And OB.Neon, they might just let the Roshan go anyway.
They're not in position to contest this time around. You do have the Ravage, but you're way inside her base. It's looking like a free Roshan coming out for Boom. And the respawn is there in the Void. Looks like they are making their way out, but they're walking the wrong direction. So, Rosh number 2 for Boom. This should lead to high ground. They do give the Shard out to FBZ, so you've got potentially the double Impale coming through on the arena. He's already been on point with the singles. It's going to be even better now if he can chain stun 2 heroes for the side of Boom to just go kaboom on. OB.Neon, bright side for them, high ground defense is strong. Ravage, Chrono, great spells. They have the Ags up on their Nyx. So there's a bit of a power spike there for Hustle to stand behind, get the Impales, get the mana burns off, maybe even get a couple of Spike Carapace stuns in the middle of it. Can't play around that. Nice spoke from Boom, though, planting out the forward vision. And that is spotted out by Sentry. So OB.Neon should be aware.
Ags up on Hustler. Gonna definitely make it harder to go high ground. See how Boom want to deal with this. Purge is already out from Januel onto Palos, but Heavenly Grace is gonna make quite a short duration. More stuns out. All the mana being drained from Palos. He will commit the Satanic. But it looks like that's going to be about it here for Boom. They don't want to go too far. One bad team fight, and this whole game could turn around so darn quick. So they do have to be a little bit wary about that. And it looks like they might just farm the whole map and bide their time for a bit.
Yeah. They do have the fresh refresh on Yopaj. So double Thunder Gods is available. No Nimbus quite yet, no Ags on Yopaj, but it doesn't seem to be really a big factor, as they just constantly shove out with Palas. So even if they're not going for the big fight, slowly but surely that tier 3 mid is falling.
Oh, jump in, FBZ. He's got the Nyx Assassin, but Disruption is going to avoid the arrow. And now the Chrono. He's got 3 targets, 458. He'll go after CTM, and now the Ravage comes through Xiao Yu. They've got Palos, and they've got him down. First life is gone. Can they find a second? Thunder God trapped. The double is out. Double kill there from Yopaj. However, Palos is in trouble, but FBZ's going to save the day. He's got the spear with the shards out, and it lands on both heroes. FBZ, once again, just making it work for Boom Esports. And GG's called. OB.Neon, they have seen enough. FBZ just out of control this game one.
He just popped off. He had a really great lane. They executed really well on Boom's side, but I think for OB.Neon, some of this comes down to draft. Going back for Faces Void and Tide, it's not great. It's the long cooldown sort of duo, which used to be really popular. I think almost like 2-3 years ago when we were casting, we used to see a lot of Void and Tide, but now it's just too slow. Especially with a shift in meta we've seen, you know, with Venge offlane, with Lycan pause 1, with Monkey Kings running around so fast. We want to see something like that from OB.Neon. They can't afford to try to play the slower game, especially against Boom. They know Boom. You know, they know how these players play. They love to play fast. They love to just run and gun, and they've been highly effective with it so far. We'll see if Neon can change up their playstyle for game number 2, but already a dominating kind of start here for Boom.
We're going to head off to a short 10-minute break, but right after that break, we're going to be back with Game 2 between Boom Esports and OB.Neon.